This is the Foreign Lady Podcast. Hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Foreign Lady Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth.
And the bottom line.
And we are back with another episode for you this week. So on today's episode, we have some really good topics today. So we're going to be talking about Tyler Perry and him casting Taraji P. Henson in a couple of his films now that he's done. But folks are, I think they're a little just like over his stereotypical movies that he's doing. And so we're going to talk about, is he still making these struggle movies and are people still interested in watching them? And now that he's, putting in our favorite actors in there, are some of these projects sort of beneath them? And then we'll talk about Gabrielle Union and her sort of topic on the whole 50-50 thing in a relationship. She first came out and said, oh, her and Dwayne Wade go 50-50. And now she sort of changed her tune and says that was a little crazy for her to say, considering, he's a former NBA player and she's an actress. Nothing wrong with that, but the pay gap is a little big. So We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about medium ugly men. Are women attracted to men that are not so attractive anymore? Are looks everything now, or are looks just, third, fourth, fifth in what women are looking for? So we'll get into that. And am I missing anything? I think that's it, right?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's jump right in and let's get into it. How's your week? How are you doing? How are things? What's going on?
It's been really good. Finished the semester, so grades are done. Spent some time out, had a good time, a really good time actually, and now I'm here.
All right, very nice. Yeah, so things are going good on my end too. Just hanging out, doing stuff. Staying home, reading a book.
Ice cream. Yeah.
Ice cream. My watching Michelle Obama. The usual.
Well, we gotta stay away from Michelle today.
Oh, no, it was good. I attended a really good it was a women's brunch at our church today.
Okay, that's good.
It was just really, really wonderful. Got to just be around some great women and just we served the Lord, praise and worship. It was really, really good. So that was a very good start to my day today. And even though the devil tried, he tried this morning. He did, but I made it, and that's all that matters.
All right, then. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. My what else do I got going on? Let's see. I'm going to see my baby graduate high school next week.
Goodness! Wow.
Yes. So I'm very, very excited about that. It's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful, emotional situation for me. I'm gonna get through it.
You're not gonna have a baby no more. That's an adult.
I know, that's a grown man right there. It's a grown man. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited for him and really excited for this next chapter in his life and going off to college. And yeah, I'm going to be boohooing like crazy.
Well, it's just as much a chapter for you.
That's what I said, right? Because, I forgot who I was talking to, and they were like, probably one of my brothers, and they were like, well, this is his moment. This ain't your moment. I was like, excuse me? This is absolutely my moment, okay? I have suffered through everything. I have been there for that boy through everything, and you best to believe if I could walk across that stage too with him, I will be there, okay?
Right.
Because it is a big moment, and we should definitely celebrate it, because not a lot of folks get to graduate high school or see their kids graduate high school. And go on to be independent people and whole people. It definitely is worth a celebration. Yeah. That's what I think. So for sure. So I'm very excited.
There's so many ways that this is like just as much of a moment for him as it is for you, because
like you were there before, you were there before, during, and after. So it's so weird. Like time is just so weird.
You've got to watch him become an adult from, childhood, adolescence. You got to watch all of that.
Yeah.
So you're at least a witness to his moment, and that could be just as changing for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just so excited for him and everything that he has going on and all his plans, and I continue to just pray for him and know that he's going to be good. He's going to be
Yeah,
good. So, all right, let's move on to our topics for today. So, Tyler Perry has a new movie out on Netflix. I believe he has a Netflix deal.
yeah.
So, a lot of his movies are coming out on Netflix. And Taraji got cast as, I think, is a single mom in this movie. She plays a lot of single
What
moms.
else? What else would she be playing? Honestly, you wouldn't even have to tell me anything about the movie. I mean, you'd be like, "Well, it's Sima Taraji, so she's likely a single mom, ex-military, able
Ex-con.
to beat up 5 men at a time, And at the same
Yeah.
time, she would never need a man kind of thing, where other men in her life are evil and wrong.
Oh my goodness. So, I forget the name of the movie. Is it called
I saw it was Straw. I mean, if you mean the
The
one that's
Straw?
coming now, it means
Yeah,
Straw.
yeah, Straw. So people are like, are saying that this project might be a little bit beneath her, and she's done so many great things in her career. Why is she doing a Tyler Perry movie? Tyler Perry movies are continuing to stereotype the black community. He makes these struggle things. Like, why can't he make uplifting movies about the culture and about black community and black people, and why is there always got to be a single mom or baby mama drama or this or that? And so what are your thoughts on her doing this movie, and what are your thoughts on Tyler Perry continuing to sort of make these movies that people are just like, look, there's only but so many, struggling movies we can see about black people. When are you going to make movies that actually uplift us and is inspiring and shows another side of us as a community?
So, I might actually surprise you on this one on my thoughts.
Okay.
Because if you had asked me this 10 years ago, I would have said, oh man, why he got to keep doing this? I would have been in the same boat as everyone else. However, we've had a new crop of filmmakers like Ryan Coogler, Jordan Peele, we even have Shonda Rhimes, and they're giving us diversity as far as black roles. So when I'm able to see diversity, when I'm able to see us play other kind of roles, I can be okay with the existence of Tyler Perry movies because there's a niche for that. Also, the man has been alive for 20 years plus. And he is a success story for a reason. He knows his genre, he knows his audience, he has a niche, and he sticks to it and is continuing to bring him success. So I can't really be mad at that.
It's okay for him to continue to make continue to make the type of movies that he makes. Is that okay?
Definitely. It's just bringing more diversity. If it was just the one thing that we've seen over the last 20 years, yeah, it would be a problem. Then I would ask Tyler, do something different. But there's enough filmmakers in our community that are doing something different that he really doesn't have to change. And the thing
So
is, yeah.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. And the thing is, again, when you find your niche, you find your audience, and they're still putting food on the table for you, allowing you to be a success, why would you change? You don't change a good formula if it's bringing you success. And I can't blame him for that. I mean, he has done so much. He has his own studios.
Hmm.
And even though his content is low hanging fruit, his success is not. I don't consider Tyler Perry as beneath her. At
Hmm.
best, I consider Tyler Perry as a nice side hustle for people like Taraji P. Henson. That in between these big movies, you have your side hustle that is still bringing you some success. And that side hustle allows you to have options and say no, like, I don't want to do this, you know? So I think in so many ways, it's a benefit.
Okay. Um. Here's my thought on it. I think, as far as her doing Tyler Perry movies, I think we don't give Tyler enough credit
Mm-hmm.
for first of all, for bringing jobs to Black actors, because he casts a lot of Black actors that would otherwise not have had an opportunity to work. Hollywood wasn't casting Black actors like that, and still not. I mean, it's gotten a little better, but we still see the same few faces in most of these movies. And so having another avenue, and I honestly think we need more people like Tyler, right? To be able to give more jobs and opportunities to up and coming actors or actors who don't get that same opportunity in mainstream. And I mean, even look at Taraji, right? Like, as mainstream as we know she is, she still gets the short end of the stick
Yeah.
sometimes. And she does have to do Tyler Perry movies. Again, I don't know why we're putting it at such like beneath the whole Hollywood thing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because of the way we're trained or whatever, or our mindset. But it's like he has his own major studio, you
Yeah.
know. So, and the other thing is he's paying them what they're worth.
Yes.
You know, like he's paying these actors what they are worth. He's paying them, putting money in their pockets. He's providing jobs for them. And so I don't look at it as, oh, this is beneath this actor or this actor. As long as I'm getting a job and a paycheck, like I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care who the director, studio, whatever. As long as I am, the whole point of it is to be a working actor. And if I am a working actor and I'm getting paid to work, then that's all that matters. As far as the other part of, you know, the type of movie that he makes, I think maybe he should listen to his audiences, because it's not what it used to be, right? I can't tell you how many Tyler Perry movies I've seen since, geez, what's the one with Janet Jackson?
Why did I get married?
Why Did I Get Married? That was probably the last true Tyler Perry movie that I saw, was Why Did I Get Married? I think that it is good to change your formula and your variety. I think it's good to maybe give the audience something that they maybe haven't necessarily seen before from you.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, if it's working for him, then it's working for him, right? Like if he continues to make money off of these movies or off of these TV shows, and it's not brain surgery, and it's, you know, the same formula is working for him, then by all means go for it. I think he does need to, maybe this is just my criticism a little bit, if I were to give him a little advice, not that no one asked me, but I would just say, like, maybe challenge yourself, because I know he writes all of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so maybe hire fresh writers, right? Maybe hire fresh writers who can bring you different stories and fresh stories, because sometimes we can be, if we've been doing something for so long, we can be very like just narrow minded and just write a certain type of way. Like as a writer, you're just like, "Okay, this is my one avenue. This is what works for me." This is like, it gets stale a little bit. So I guess my thing would be like, if for him to hire up and coming writers, to hire different creatives and give them a chance and see, and really be able to give not just actors but other people in the creative world a chance as well. That's just my thought on it.
Definitely. And I think he does attempt to do that. I know Ryan Coogler did that with the Creed films. He allowed somebody else to direct. And I think he if he's not doing it already, I think it's something he definitely can do. But it's like for me, I just see it as he has his formula. He doesn't need to change it if it's bringing him the success that he enjoys. And one of the things that really changed me on Tyler Perry was the fact that Black actors came out and said, he pays me my worth.
Yeah.
And that really did shift my thinking, because when you hear about some of these Black actors in the big budget Hollywood films, and you're thinking, oh, they're making so much money, when really they're not. You know, they
Yeah.
may be making 100K off the film, while the other bigger actors, usually white, are making like 5 million. Like, wow, I didn't know it was that big of a pay gap. You know, and to hear how, when I heard Taraji's story about how, I think it was off the movie Benjamin Button,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she said she made 50K, I believe. And she said immediately that just money was gone, because she had to pay her team and she had to pay for her son's school. And by the time anything was left, it was all gone to other bills and stuff like that. So they're not really living the lifestyle that we think, and they have to live paycheck by paycheck. So then when you come across Tyler Perry saying, how much do you want? And they're like, I've been here for so long, I would like to be paid this. He's like, oh, I'll pay you that and more. And you're like, oh, wow, here's a guy that really respects his actors. And no wonder when somebody's paying you well, guess what you do? You come back to them.
You
You
come
work with
back.
them,
Yeah.
with them again. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep working with Tyler because he pays me well. And then when you have that working relationship, even though you're going to be doing something quote unquote stereotypical, I think there's still that mindset in that room. Hey, maybe we shouldn't do this scene. Maybe let's not take it that far. If we're going to be a stereotype, we could do it very subtly. I could see how that in the end could work out for him because what one thing I do want to say, like the fact that he's working with Taraji again is already bringing attention. It's already bringing publicity, you know, because if it was anyone else, we may not care so much. But because Taraji is famous to us, Tyler is famous to us, and even their names are known in other communities, is going to bring that attention to the film. So I see it as overall good. And I'm willing to take some stereotypes, not all, but at least some, to see that movie be a success. And it just adds to her resume, adds to his. So yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally echo what you said. Like, I think it's a good thing. And if you find a director that is willing to, work with you and pay you what you're worth, then of course. And we've seen this in Hollywood, right? We've seen directors who will work with the same actors over and over again because they have a good working relationship. I mean, we see it with Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. We see it with Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy. I mean, he's been in all of them. We see it with, like we see it with a lot of directors who stick with the same people and same actors because they know they know, okay, this person is going to give me the performance that I need. This person is, I work well with them, I have a good relationship with them. And I think it's the same thing with Tyler and Taraji. She's like, this man is uplifting me, this man is putting money in my pocket, this man is valuing what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna go where I am wanted and I'm appreciated, and there is nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah. The only thing I ask is, Tyler, just be mindful of anything that's derogatory or denigrating to the community. That would be it.
Yeah.
Because you could list off the movies and the shows this man has made. I think there's the show Sisters on BET. He's coming out with a new one, Divorced Sisters. He had the Have and the Have Nots. That show, I'm not gonna lie to you,
Tyler's killing it.
I ended up watching that show and I didn't want to. I didn't want to like it. I didn't want to enjoy it. I still got to finish it, and it was every stereotype I thought it would be, but I still ended up watching it. That was the thing. But I was just asking, hey, just be mindful of how you depict us, and that's about it. Do your thing, do it your way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, let's move on. So we are going to talk about another Tyler Perry actor,
Right.
Gabrielle.
Right. Is she though? I mean, I know she did at least one.
She did Daddy's. Is it Daddy's Little Girl?
I think that's about it.
Oh, you're right. You might be right. I don't know. I could have sworn she was in other Tyler movies, but it might just be that one. Anyway, so a couple years ago she did an interview where she talked about her and Dwayne Wade's relationship. Those of you who don't know, they are married. And she rightfully boasted about how it's 50-50 in their household. Like, they go 50-50 on the bills, and she's very proud of it, and she's very, she stood 10 toes down about being able to provide for their family 50-50, and that was what was going to happen, and that was what she was going to do, and that's what they're doing, and ain't nobody going to stop her type situation. And she definitely started a conversation about that where people are like, you're married to Dwayne Wade, how the hell are you doing 50-50? Like, this makes no sense. But she backed it up, and she was like, this is, I got my own, and this is what we're doing. Well, now she's changed her tune, and now she said that she was a little crazy to do the 50-50, and she couldn't keep up with it. She has a man who is worth more than she is and is more than capable of taking care of their family. And she has realized that she doesn't have to take on so much. And now they're not doing 50-50 anymore. And people definitely came for her in them comment section. They ate her up. Okay. So What are your thoughts on this? And and with the idea of 50-50, like where did the idea of 50-50 come from, right? Like, is it because it didn't used to be this way? It was the man was the provider. He would handle a majority of the big bills, like the housing, and he'll do the mortgage, he'll do the car note, he'll do, you know, like all of the big stuff. And then the woman would, if she's capable and she's able to, will take care of the little bills, right? Will be maybe it's a utility bill here and there, or take care of some of the stuff that the kids need, or whatever it might be. But for a bulk of it, the man was going to be the one to do that. And I think as we've changed in a society, and women are making more and things are getting more and more expensive, I think this idea of 50-50 kind of came into play of, you have to pay 50% of the mortgage or the rent. You have to pay 50% of the car note and the car insurance. You have to, like, we were going Dutch on everything. And it's like, is that really realistic, especially if one makes way more than the other? What are your thoughts on this as a man? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, let me first say, I'm not going to say I told you so.
Oh my goodness. Here
I'm
we
not
go.
going to say that, okay?
Here we go.
But in my experience as a man, I'm just speaking honestly, is that when women are young in their teens, they love that whole idea. They got their own money, they could do their own thing, etc., etc. And it all sounds good. Always having your own money is good. But I think when women get older, when they don't have that energy to chase their career anymore, but they don't have that energy to stay up all night. But, when it comes to Gabrielle Union, it's like you saw it coming. It's like she wanted so hard to be, I guess, equal to her man. Like, I'm working just as hard as you, and you can't take that away from me. I can take care of myself. I was doing it before I met you. And I think that mindset makes sense when you're a young woman in your 20s, you're chasing your career. You could say to these guys, I don't need your money. I have my own. But as you get older, you don't have the energy to chase your career, to chase money and work 80 hours a week. You don't want to do that anymore. You start to want to rest in your femininity. And what I've noticed, and what happens to a lot of women, is that when they close in on 40, they just don't have the energy to work all night. They want to be taken care of. They're very okay with now staying in the home, doing those household chores and wifely duties, and they're very okay with the man now taking care of the bills and working 60 hours a week. And I think that is simply what happened to her, to Gabrielle Union. No offense to her, she's still a beautiful woman, very beautiful, but you're not what you used to be at your prime. You're not getting the revenues that you used to get. So it makes sense that you're not bringing in the same kind of income that you used to do. So now it's like, okay, do I keep trying to compete with this man, keep trying to chase this next role just to pay half the bill, but he can take care of it? Or do I finally rest in my femininity? And I think she finally made the choice. Listen, I like it when you take care of me. And she's finally conceded as if she really lost something. It's funny when I'm like, you didn't lose anything. You actually won. You just you didn't admit that you really won here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen her in any movies lately. And I think her career, as far as the acting, has sort of calmed down a lot. She used to be really popular in the 90s and 2000s and things like that, but her career has slowed down. And he's an ex NBA star. He's Dwayne Wade. He will,
Yeah.
even though he's not playing, he still has other hands and other baskets and other pot. Like, he will continue to make money for the rest of his life, just off of not only the NBA money, but the brand deals and all the other things that he has set up for himself.
Yeah.
And so, first of all, I thought the whole idea was stupid to begin with, because if you have a man that is willing to take care of you and can take care of you, why not let him? And yes, we do have this ego, and I was guilty of it too. You know, we're young, we're like, no, I can do this by myself, and we're this and we're that, and I can handle it. And yes, and we're gonna go for, and I've done the whole 50-50 thing as well. But at a certain point, like you said, we don't want to be doing that. Sometimes we just want to sit in our femininity and let this man just take care of us, and be that provider. And we just like, what, babe, you got this, boo. Like, we don't want to be struggling all the time. Okay, it ain't cute to be struggling. And so if you don't have to struggle, why bring that struggle bus to yourself? There's other things to be struggling about. And if finances isn't one of them, it doesn't make you less than, right? And I think that's what, maybe it's society that's put this in our heads of, oh, if we're not capable financially just as equal or more to the man, then we're somehow less than. And it's like, no, women bring other things to the table. One of my girlfriends actually introduced me to that podcast, and they had on this pastor, and she said women bring to the table things that are intangible, right? Like, men feel like, if a woman doesn't bring something that's tangible or something that they can see, then she's no use to them. And being feminine isn't something that you can see. Like, and she said something so profound that I was like, say that again, pastor. I'm trying to find the exact quote of what she said, because I wrote that stuff down, because I'm like, this is powerful. Okay. So she said, when she said, does that woman, as if that woman is a good woman, is she good for your peace, legacy, and portfolio? Do you know what I'm talking about? Tell me, her name is April Mason, and the name of the podcast is called Hardly Initiated. And when she said, does that woman bring you peace, legacy, and portfolio? I said, if the answer to that question, to all three, is yes, then you need to keep her.
Do you all realize? I'm gonna let you finish, because I can't contain myself right now. But go ahead. I can't even look at you right now. But go ahead.
It was like, preach on, woman, because that is exactly it. If I am good for your peace, if I bring you peace, like if being in my arms brings you peace and love and calmness outside from all of the stress that you got to deal with, then yes, baby, I'm a keeper. Okay. If I'm good for your legacy, right? Are we building for generations and generations, right? Am I putting stuff on your plate that's good for our kids and our future kids and our grandkids, our great grandkids? Are we building that legacy together? Then yes. Am I good for your portfolio? Am I encouraging you? Am I being that motivator for you? Am I being like, yes, baby, go out there and close that business deal? Or yes, baby, you need to go out there and start that business? Or yes, baby, you need to go out there and get that degree, and so you can make more money? Or yes, baby, you need that promote. Like, am I encouraging you? And if all of that is yes, those aren't things that are tangible. Those aren't things that you can see.
So in other words, is she fit, feminine, and friendly? Kevin Sanders would say.
I hate you
This
so
is
much.
what Kevin Sanders was saying the whole time. Like, when you said this, does she like rub your back or something? Did you say something like rub your back or something like that? But that's something Kevin Sanders would say, like, like, be that woman that he comes home to and bring him peace. Be that woman that he comes home to that you just rub his head and he feels fine. These are all things that Kevin Sanders was saying, whether you like him or not. It's just that now that he's passed on, now people want to take his ideas and rebrand it as something else. And this is not me advocating for Kevin Samuels, but I'm just saying this was his message a lot of the times. People got upset. And as far as Gabrielle Union and women, try to um, do that all by themselves, be independent, nobody's mad at that. Like, I think that for good men, we want to give those around us options.
Yeah.
If you're all women and you want to work, we're going to give you that option to work. But if you don't want to work, you also have that option. And I think Dwayne Wade did the same thing with Gabrielle Union. He gave her that option. Oh, you want to pay 50-50? That's not a problem. If you want me to take care of everything, I can do that too. So I saw some people respond like, how come Dwayne Wade didn't jump in sooner? Because again, if he had stepped in too soon, then he'd be the problem. He'd be blamed. They'd be like, oh, you made her give up her career. No. He had to wait until she was ready to ask so that later on, it's not his fault. You made the choice to come over and say, you take care of it, take care of everything else. The rest of my femininity, I'll do the household wifely duties, etc., etc. So I think that was maturity on his side. And again, an example of how good men give those around them options. You know, you want to do this on your own, you can. If you don't, I got your back. I'll support you.
But I also think, the flip side of it is there are some men out there that just ain't it.
Yeah.
They cannot provide for their woman. They cannot provide for their family. And so the woman is having to she's having to carry all of that burden. She's having to go make sometimes more than 50. And so at that point, it's, I don't want to say like everything is all it's all financial based, because it's not. He's bringing other things to the table, and I'm sure that that's fine as well. But I mean, I can only speak for myself. I want a man that can provide for me.
Yeah.
I can provide for myself, and I have been providing for myself. So it's not like I'm incapable. And and the thing is, even if we're not like I think the mistake that some women make is, and there's some women where you'll hear them say, "Well, I don't know how to balance a checkbook," or "I don't know how to. I've never even seen our accounts. Like, I don't know. He takes care of all of that." Well, that's great and that's dandy, but God forbid if something happens, if he passes away or y'all get divorced or whatever, you don't know how, open a credit card. You don't know how to open a bank account. You don't know how to handle money. That's not a great situation. So I'm not talking about a situation like that. You should be financially educated, and you should be financially literate and know that. But at the same time, we want to trust in a man that knows what he's doing. And that's what that's what I keep saying is like, I and many of women out there are ready to let the man lead and let the man be the man. If he is capable of it, if he has shown that he is capable of being trustworthy and loyal and faithful and be a good leader and knows what he's doing. But if I know that this man is going to lead me off a cliff, I'd be like, look, that's my exit. Okay?
Listen.
It's time to go.
That seems like a vivid scenario from Gabrielle Union, because it seems like you came in knowing this man could already do it.
No, I understand that.
And it feels like she was competing.
Yes. And there are some women that are like that too, of like, I want to prove that I can do this. I want to prove that I can go 50-50 and I can handle myself. Or sometimes it's just, I'm not with you for your money, right? We're trying to prove that I'm not with you for your money. I'm not with you for what you can provide me. And we put ourselves in situations where we're like, shit, I don't know if I can handle this. If a man is making 10 times more than me and we're going 50-50, that's crazy to me. Okay? But because we are prideful, and I can admit that I have had that same mentality of, even if he does make 10 times more than me, I might want to go 50-50, because I want to prove to him that I'm not just with him for the money, or that I can handle myself, or that I know how to I come into this relationship with value. And that's just the way a lot of us think, that we want to prove to the man that we're coming into this with value, and not just whatever you all think that we're trying to milk you for what you got, or we're not bringing nothing to the table or whatever. And it's like, women bring way more to the table than things that you can see.
Let me tell you something. Here's how good men who have means look at this. Well, let me just say, for me, if you're a good man with means and you meet a woman who wants to go 50-50, it's like we're hearing somebody who wants to do things the hard way. We can respect it, but it's like, you don't have to do that with us. We want to take care of you, especially like if you're a valuable woman, we want to make your life a little bit more easier. When I, gone over women that I thought were of value, that were worthy, I wanted to send them to the spa for the day, shopping spree, that kind of thing. I've had to do that a few times. But
I'm still waiting on my spa. Okay.
Listen,
I have been friends with you for more than 20 years, and I still ain't have my spa day.
You still here in the pivot phase. That's why you still in 50-50 phase.
Wow. You see what I'm talking
That's
about?
the problem.
That's terrible.
When you give up the 50-50, then we'll talk about the spa.
I'm giving up my
But
50
right
50.
now,
I'm cashing it in. Okay. I
right
want my
now,
spa day.
we're talking about the women that I do with that already gave the 50-50, right?
Okay. Okay.
Let me tell you something. In my experience, when you are offering to take care of a woman, they don't fight that. When you want to take them to the spa, um, or a shopping spree, they don't get that. They don't fight that. You
I
want
can
to
do
do what you
my own
do, right?
shopping spree. Okay. I
But
can take
I
myself to the
never hear
spa.
that. I never hear that reply when I say I'm taking you to a shopping spree. I never hear that reply. It's all giggles. It's all smiley faces.
Mhm.
So like for us as men, it's like I said, we'll give you that option, but really, there's no need for you to take the hard path. I already think you're a prize. I already think you're the best thing I ever had. So you don't have to do or prove anything else. I want to make life easy for you. So I understand that some women they want to prove themselves valuable in this pathway, but we're not looking for that. The things that you were valuable in, we already see it. We want to keep you valuable in those areas by making the other areas less of a problem. That's how good men are looking at it.
All right. Well, I think it can be complicated sometimes because again, and it depends on the man. It
Uh-huh.
all depends on, can this man be a provider? Do I can I go into it knowing that the 50-50 is a choice and not something that I have to do? That's the other thing is this one was a choice. She went into it knowing that he can take care of her, but she decided to do the whole 50-50 thing.
Uh-huh.
And so if it is a choice, then I think you just have to wait for her, for the man has to just wait for her to be in that right set of frame of, I can let my guard down and I can trust you and I can trust that you can take care of business. And I think that's just sometimes what women want, right? Like, and she even said it herself. She was so used to handling everything by herself. She was taking care of her family. She was taking care of all of these other things. And, so sometimes we're just so used to going, 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 going. And so the concept of not having to go all the time, or the concept of having to let somebody take care of it, it could be hard. It could be difficult. But I think once we sort of get to that point and get to that conclusion by ourselves, we'd be like, okay, this ain't so bad.
Of
This ain't
course
so
it
bad.
isn't. Of course, having an
Get used to
NBA
this.
player take care of you, give you a life of comfort, there is
I
nothing
want
ever
an NBA
bad
player
about
to give
that,
me a
right?
life of comfort.
Like something tells me when Gabrielle Union had to make that confession, oh my goodness, I have to let my NBA husband, I have to let him take care of me. Come on, sis. That wasn't like the biggest struggle you had to deal with.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, people were
I,
like, girl, okay.
right? None of her girlfriends came up to her to wag their finger at her. None of them came to do it. It was probably like, finally, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Like, finally, girl, like, let that man do his thing.
Yeah. But
You
I
know,
will say this.
look at Sierra. She is letting Russell just take good care of her and their kids, and she is living a life of love. That's the life I want. I'm like,
Yeah.
let my man just take care of me, take care of our family, and just let us be. And that's it. Like, that's all you want. That's all you want. Women just want a man that can just give us safety and security and love, and we know that at the end of the day this man will have our back.
And here's what it comes down to. When you, as a woman, are still doing the 50-50, it's kind of like you're still questioning the relationship. There's a
Mm,
party that's saying that, in case he leaves me or whatever the case may be, it won't be so devastating because I still know how to take care of myself. And I can understand when it's like you let the man take care of everything, and let's say he passes away or he leaves you, and honestly don't know what to do with yourself. That could be very devastating. So you want to hold on to the independence, and I get it. I understand that aspect of it.
mhm.
But I will also say when you finally give that up, you're finally saying, I trust you. And he
Yeah.
now understands you can finally relax. Cause like we've been together all this time, but you were always so tense about, oh, 50-50. Oh, I have to contribute. Like you're waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's saying, okay, I'm going to let you take care of this, is saying, you know what? I trust that you have this. I'm letting you carry this weight so that I don't have to. And I think that's a beautiful thing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. All right. Let's move on to our next topic.
Yeah.
So, there's a conversation going around about what women are looking for in men right now. The conversation about medium ugly men.
Right,
Right.
right,
So
right.
they're those men that are in the middle, right? They're not quite. I would say they're what, between a 5 and a 6, or is it a 4 and a 5? Like which one are
Probably
we?
a 4 and a 5, four
A
and a
4 and a
six.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, are they less stressful, or are they more reliable and more compatible than, let's say, a man who's a 9 or a 10?
I would say so. I would say, like, when a man knows he's dating a 10, he's going to work harder to keep her.
So you think that, okay, so this whole thing about attractiveness, right? Like it's no secret that we've definitely seen more women date men that are not attractive than men date women that are not attractive. Women
Right.
generally, sometimes, majority of the time, will date a man that is not quite up to their attractive level.
Right.
And so, I mean, I've dated people that are not up to my attractive level, and usually for me it's personality. Like, I am attracted to a man with charisma and personality. That's just like, you could be a 3, but if you have the personality of a 20, I am it. If you can make me laugh, if you can make me, like, turn on the charm, and just like, it's never a boring moment when we're together.
Of
I don't care
course.
what you look like. And so I think a lot of women are in that space. I mean, I still do have a thing for the height. Like, you do have to be, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty tall. So I think the height thing is a definite, like, thing for me. I can do with you not being, up to, like, attractive level, but if you're not quite tall, I don't know. And so, is this the best thing for women to do? Like, if someone of my attractive level, right? Would you think that it would be best for me to find somebody who's not quite as attractive, because then I know that at least he's going to be loyal and faithful and he won't want to lose me, versus a man who's, let's say, looks like, Idris Elba, or, was it Desmond Idris? Is that the other one?
Damson Idris?
Or, yeah, Damson Idris or Michael B. Jordan. And I know that every girl is going to be, breaking their necks to look at him. And I know that he, like, is that more of a safety thing than going after men who are attractive?
I think so. I think women, if I'm going to be honest, they're intimidated by good looking men.
I'm not.
I think women, when they find men that are as good looking or better looking than them, right? They get intimidated because it's like you have to be at your best to keep him.
You think it's more, well, so, okay. So are you saying if the woman is not as attractive and the man is, that the woman has to do more work to keep
To
her?
keep to
To
keep
keep
him,
him,
yeah.
sorry. Okay. But what if it's the other way around? Do you think the man has to do more work to keep her if she's the more attractive one?
Yeah, he has to do more work, but that's probably what she's looking for.
Okay. But we have seen men who literally have like 10 women and will still cheat, or like will still step out.
Does he divorce?
Does he what?
Does he divorce?
Does he divorce?
Yeah, does he? Like, for example, like, if a man has a 10, he could cheat on her, of course, but is he ever leaving her? Is he ever leaving that 10 for that 5 he cheated on with? No, he's not doing that.
Okay, so you're saying that they can step out, but they're never gonna leave.
They're not going to leave the real prize.
Okay.
Also, like, when a woman dates a man that's more attractive, he might leave you for something if he finds something better. There's a difference. So the same thing happened. What was that guy on Grey's Anatomy?
Which one? There's been a couple of
That
them.
blonde, light skinned,
Jesse Williams?
Jesse Williams, that brother. Remember he had before he became famous? She was like an average looking woman.
He was.
And to me, like, she went to the gym a little bit more. She could have been just as good looking, right? But clearly at the beginning of the relationship, he was better looking than her. And what happened when he got famous? Oh, he was gone. He left. Now, I would imagine that if she had been more fit, he might have cheated, but never left her.
So what is a man looking for in a woman physically? Like, we're looking just at like pure physical, right?
I mean,
Like, because this whole idea of before they were famous, they would date a certain type of woman, but then when after they become famous, they want to date another type of woman. It's like, well, this woman held you down. This woman had your kid. If they have, well, in this case, they do have children. But this woman held you down. She gave you children. There was something clearly there that attracted you to her. But then after you got famous, now all of a sudden you think you brand new, and now you want, the model with the BBL and the this and the that, and it's like all of that will fade. Like the looks at some point will fade. But is that do you just keep upgrading for a new car? It's like upgrading for a new car. Like, do you just keep upgrading for a newer model, or like,
have
because
you
I'm
heard of
so confused.
have you heard of Leonardo DiCaprio? Have you heard of this man? Because it seems to be like out with the old and with the new. Like, this is
My
what
goodness.
this is what some men will do. They'll go for the younger model, the more fit model, because even though it looks fake, they're here now.
Yeah.
They're not going away anytime soon. Do I do I want the woman who's beautiful now and her looks fade, or the one who currently has no looks or less than average looks? I'd probably go with the one who has the looks and deal with the fact that they'll fade later on.
Mhm.
That's I feel like that's just kind of how it is. Like you have this idea of the come up woman where, yeah, she was with me when I had nothing, and I appreciate her for that. She fulfilled all my needs, but now that I'm in a better place, I want something better. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a bit guilty of that too.
A
You
bit.
know, a bit, yeah, a bit. Like I think we've all experienced that a little bit. We met somebody who, in every other way, they were willing to take care of us. They were just that person, but they may have lacked that one quality. Like you said, you might meet a guy who's everything you want, but he's not as tall as you want. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, until you get with the guy you want, you're like, okay, I'll entertain this here. I'll deal with this guy here. And you find out that along the way, oh my goodness, he's such a good guy, except for the fact that he's not tall. No. Yeah. In every way, perfect. Like anytime you need something, he's there, right? I'm sure you've met that guy. You always knew in the back of your mind, like when the right one comes along, you're gone.
Well, that's terrible. Then why be with them when you know that when the right one comes, you're gonna leave them? Like that. And that's the other thing, right? I don't know. I guess the more like we get older, the more we're not as shallow, right? Because at least I've definitely grown I've done a lot of growth where I'm like, all right, maybe I don't have to be that shallow. Like men I generally might not have necessarily given an opportunity to. I'm like, all right, maybe. Like maybe
Right,
I can entertain you for a little bit and
right.
see if there's something there. But I'm not going into it of just like, well, I'll see if there's and then I'll dump you when something better comes along. Like if there's nothing there that attracts me to you, like you could be like you could be good looking as hell, but if you're boring and it's like you're just boring, like yes, we can be, physical attraction there, but that only gets you so far. At some point, we're going to have to talk to each other. And it's like, okay, then what are we going to talk about? Right. And so I think the idea of dating a medium ugly man is a lot of them have personality because they know that their looks can't carry them far. So they have to have something else. They have to have a little charm to be able to attract that woman in. And I think that's why we're seeing this sort of craze of women, dating men that aren't as quite as attractive as they are because they know that they put in maybe more effort than, say, a man who is good looking, who just thinks, the world revolves around him and he's going to get everything he wants.
Exactly. So basically, we're all the same. Like, you're with this guy because you knew him being less attractive meant he's going to put in more work, which means you understood that if you had a guy who was a bit more attractive, he's not going to put in the same amount of work. That's what you're really saying.
I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm saying the likelihood is
Exactly. So
yeah.
you're picking the
Not, I
medium
mean,
ugly guy for selfish reasons. That's what you're saying. It's selfish reasons. You're like, oh, he's definitely gonna pay my bills. That's why I picked him. Like, yeah. Like, that's
I mean,
part
the
of the
ugly guy
reason.
can also be a dick as well.
But you're not picking him then. You're not picking him. You're not picking he's not gonna be less attractive and have a bad personality. You're not picking him off of that. You're like, oh, I know he doesn't have the looks, which is not doesn't matter to me, but will he take care of me? And that counts more.
Yeah.
That's a selfish reason to pick somebody. So, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, like, that's how some
Is it a
relationships will
selfish
be.
reason to pick somebody?
It is a selfish reason because you're first thinking about what you get out of it. Because if your mindset is, oh, well,
Yeah.
he's going to be nicer to me, he's going to take care of me, he's going to do X, Y, Z. The good-looking guys won't do that as much. You're doing it for selfish reasons. Now that's fine. A lot of times we try to talk as if women pick partners out of like noble or genuine reasons and men do it for superficial reasons. I'm
It
like,
is.
no,
We pick
it's
based
the
on
same
intention.
idea.
Women date based on intention, right? Based on, okay, will he be able to provide this, and this for me? And if you don't, look, if you check 4 out of the 5 boxes and the 5th box is you're not as attractive, then I can overlook that.
Because looks don't matter to you as much. That's what you're saying. You're counting
It
the
is
other
important
reasons.
to me. Looks are important, but I guess the older I've gotten, I'm like, they're not. Okay, look.
Let's be able what you learned from experience. You have dated good-looking men, and they haven't given you the attention that you thought you deserved, or he had access to other women that bothered you. And then you meet an ugly guy. He gave you the attention that you wanted. He gave you the appreciation. He might still go out looking for other women, but you knew he was gonna come back to you. That's all it was.
But another thing that I have found is even with the medium ugly men, right? If they do have that personality, the same personality that attracted me to him is also going to attract other women to him.
And that's exactly what I say.
So
Like
I'm
that.
in the same boat that I'm in anyway. It's
No,
either the
you're
look.
not. You're
Yes,
not in the
I
same
am.
boat. You're not in the
Yes,
same
I
boat
am.
because it means he'll probably cheat. And I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying that he's likely or it's possible that he'll cheat, but he'll never leave you if he sees you as the prize. He'll find those other women attractive, but he'll still acknowledge you're the prize, or he'll acknowledge he can't really do better than you. You're the best he can do. Men don't. That's the way they'll think. They're like, this is the best I'll do, and I love it. I'm keeping it.
Okay.
I just find it insulting, like, the medium ugly thing. I mean, I think most men don't care about it. I just find it that if it was the reverse, if we body shamed women in that kind of sense, made fun of their looks in that sense,
Yeah.
there would be this outcry. How can men judge in those terms? Some of the female artists can make songs or make lyrics calling men medium ugly. And I'm like, you could have just said medium attractive. You didn't have to say ugly. You could have said average looking, but you had to go with something that was, in a way to hurt somebody or insulting.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Look, dating is complicated, man. Like, I think we're all just at this point we're all just trying to navigate it. Whether it's, the attractive ones or the medium ugly ones or the really, really ugly ones. Like,
Yeah.
everyone just wants some love.
No, yeah, I get it. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, like, the quote unquote medium ugly guy is going to make you feel like a princess. We get it. He's going to make you feel like a prize.
Yeah. All right. Well, for the medium ugly guys out there.
You want to give me a number?
No, no. I'm just saying we appreciate you.
My
Okay.
goodness. You appreciate that. Oh my goodness.
We appreciate you and what you have to offer.
Yeah, and just so you know, like for most men, I would say this isn't hurtful because we understand that we can get by on personality. We get by on how useful we are. So we like okay, and if we clean up, dress nice, smell nice, have good conversation, we know those can count or give us the advantage as well. So we don't get upset at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have come to the end of this episode, y'all. Is there any last words you want to say before we head out?
No, this is hilarious.
All right.
Gabrielle Union, Tyler Perry, meeting ugly men.
We give you variety here on the
Right, right.
podcast. Well, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you are, subscribed and you hit that notification button on our YouTube. Please support us on that platform. We're really, really trying to grow the channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at the Foreign Lady Pod. And make sure you leave us a review, comments if you like it, if you don't like it. Make sure you share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with coworkers, share it with everybody. So we really appreciate all of your support, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Foreign Lady.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate, like, and subscribe wherever you listen to the podcast.
Follow us on social media at The Foreign Lady Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
Email us at theforeignladypodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.